Welcome back. You're watching Overdrive. After 3 legs of our epic journey across the country in the Toyota Etios, it's now turn for the home stretch. Sandeep takes the wheel from Kolkata to Bengaluru to wrap up the Toyota Etios India Yatra.
Working at Overdrive, you get used to early morning starts. Shoots, drives, meetings, almost everything involves leaving at 5 in the morning, and so that's what I did. Heading out to the Heritage Hotel in Kolkata for the longest and last leg of the Etios Yatra. A journey of well over 2,000 kilometers from Kolkata to Bengaluru via my hometown of Chennai. Our target for the day, 450 kilometers to Odisha's capital Bhubaneswar via Kharagpur. But not having driven in this part of the world before, I wanted some time in hand in case of trouble. The last time I drove this car was at Chennai during the jury round evaluations of the Overdrive Awards, and that was in the first week of December. Of course, the first thing that strikes me when I get back into this car is this steering wheel. It is really something. Comfortable, very, very sporty, and it really just elevates your mood the moment you sit down in this car and you're ready to go driving. We crossed the border into Orissa just after breakfast, and other than the odd jam at Octroi Nakas or truck laybys, we had 4-lane dual carriageways throughout Bengal and Orissa. A combination of Waze on my iPad and a Garmin GPS brought us into Bhubaneswar at around 3 in the afternoon, and then it was time to catch up on sleep in anticipation of day 2. Another early start saw us clear Bhubaneswar easily before hitting some narrow stretches of highway which wound through villages and level crossings. Once we were back onto the G-Quad, it was a familiar story. Wide, straight roads and a whole lot of toll plazas. In these days of build, own, transfer, toll plazas are a fact of life, a constant fixture on our highways. But the attitude of the people manning these toll plazas, now that is a complete mosaic. Now Shumi was telling me how when he was driving through UP, at almost every toll plaza, the people were willing to let you pass for a significantly lesser sum if you didn't ask for a receipt. He actually had to fight and get receipts out of people. But so far, along my drive, I've had no such issues. In West Bengal, it was just money in, receipt out, thank you very much, bang. In Orissa, things were a little bit more lax. They took their own time over it, scratched their heads a little bit. And now in Andhra Pradesh, it's more of the same. Quick, fast, effective. The Etios Yatra had 2 objectives: seeing how our car of the year performed under stress in real-world conditions, and to check out the state of the Golden Quadrilateral. And I, for one, was very impressed with the roads in Andhra Pradesh. Well, I can tell you this now emphatically, the best roads I've seen on the G-Quad ever are in Andhra Pradesh. They're superbly surfaced, and by superbly surfaced I mean you'd be hard-pressed to find an undulation anywhere. They are so smooth, they're extremely well marked, which is another thing that you don't see very often on our highways. Extremely well marked, extremely well signposted, but unfortunately the drivers, they're a bit the same. The truckers are still crazy, cutting across you all over the place, and every time you get close to a village, you really need to be sharp because guys are gonna come at you from the opposite side. Having made great time on those stunning roads, we chose to bypass Vizag and head further into AP to the town of Rajamundry. The next morning, once again, we were off at the crack of dawn, getting clear of town and settling down for more mile munching. When we shot our first road test, I for one had doubts about the Etios and its highway cruising abilities. The standard had been set very high indeed by its stablemates the Innova and Corolla. But actually this car is very, very good. Okay, the seats don't look like much, but I've now spent, let me see, 1,451 kilometers in this car, most of it in the front seat, some of it in the back seat, and I've had no problems whatsoever. It's comfortable, it's refined, and it's very, very fast.
Across the border and into Tamil Nadu, the good roads continued until we hit the outskirts of Chennai at rush hour. And that was the end of day 3.
This is our fourth and final morning on the road. Today, the Overdrive Etios Yatra will come to an end at Bengaluru. It's a bit of a lazy start this morning because we just have about 400 kilometers to go. Since way back when, if you had to drive from Chennai to Bangalore or Bangalore to Chennai, you simply had to take National Highway 4. Now that highway snaked its way through 3 different states, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and of course Karnataka. But in most places, it was 1, maybe 2 lanes wide. And as a result, the amount of traffic that it carried meant that a simple distance of something like 350 kilometers could take you anywhere between 6, 7, maybe even 8 hours. But that was then. Now we do have an alternative route, and as you may have noticed, we're now on National Highway 46, not 4. This highway goes through the town of Krishnagiri towards Bangalore, and as you can see, 2 lanes, maybe 3 in places, beautifully surfaced and very, very fast. And that's cut the travel time down a huge amount.
As we headed ever closer to Bengaluru, I decided to hand driving duties over to Halley and check out the back seat.
The handbrake Halley, who's doing all the driving, isn't exactly short. He's about 5'9", and the seat's in his normal driving position. And all 6'8" of me has a lot of space here. I'm really, really comfortable. This rear bench, it may look a little plain, but it's very comfortable. There's enough support to be had. And just a little tip here. If you're going to be spending any amount of time in the back seat on the highway, it's a good idea to wear the seat belt. That just gives you a lot more security and confidence. And so after 6,000 kilometers, of which I've personally driven over 2,000, the Overdrive Etios Yatra is at an end. We started in Bangalore, we have finished in Bangalore, and I for one have had an absolute blast.